Good morning, Donald Trump. I'm sorry, but you just got hit with the worst news ever. That's right. In this breaking story, Donald Trump just woke up to an absolute horrible report. Trump's America First nonsense is only putting America last. How's it going, everybody? Hunter Avalone here with Occupy Democrats. Welcome back to another video. Now, Donald Trump just doesn't actually care about Americans' concern. In fact, the main concern so many Americans have right now is the rising cost of healthcare. And what is Trump doing about it? Nothing.
I was up last weekend in Scranton, Pennsylvania, about 2 hours north of me here in Philadelphia. A few hundred people came out for our town hall. I did it with a few other House Democratic colleagues of mine. And that was one of the questions that was asked. I mean, by far and away, because this was a town hall on every topic, far and away, healthcare dominated about 75% of the conversation and 75% of the questions. And people are really a combination of angry and afraid. In terms of what can be done from here, the best thing that I can do is fight to continue to restore this damage, or at least prevent it from happening in the first place. Because as great as our nonprofit sector may be, I think it would be naive to think that there's any private sector entity that can match the power and the wealth and the money of the federal government. I mean, all told, we're talking about $1 trillion worth of cuts that were in the Republican tax bill. Sorry, $1 trillion worth of cuts specifically to health care. There is no nonprofit that can come along and simply fill that gap.
And meanwhile, Trump's policies continue to wreak havoc on everyday Americans.
I also want to talk about the effect that the Trump administration's indiscriminate immigration enforcement is having on your union members. Do people feel safe coming into work?
No. I mean, we have had horror story after horror story of members of ours that have been granted status in this country that have been targeted on the job site for removal, followed to their homes, and on the way to work being pulled over by local law enforcement and being detained only not to be heard from again. You know, what is going on in our country right now should alarm all of us and should really bring back to the middle a conversation on how we can deal with immigration as a whole.
You have lots of members who are also of varied immigration statuses, including U.S. citizens, green card holders, others. What do you hear from them about their feelings about coming to work, even though they're maybe U.S. citizens or green card holders?
Genuine fear in certain instances, and I can tell you this, in Southern California and Los Angeles, ever since the National Guard has been called up, our members are in fear of even gathering in large groups. We've had to cancel our union meetings, which have been a tradition of ours for over 130 years, for fear of being targeted just by the way they look.
But now things just got worse. That's right, Donald Trump just woke up to a nightmare. Take a look at this. Trump's morning just took another ugly turn as his so-called America First trade war is now kneecapping one of the most iconic American brands in history. Jim Beam, founded in 1795 and woven into the fabric of Kentucky for more than 230 years, just announced it will pause production at its main distillery beginning January 1st, 2026. The reason sales have collapsed after Trump's tariff war triggered a massive international backlash. After Trump rolled out his Liberation Day tariffs earlier this year, Canada responded with a sweeping boycott of American goods. Provinces like Ontario and Quebec yanked U.S. liquor off store shelves entirely, sending American whiskey sales in Canada down by more than 60%. And here's the irony Trump never mentions. Jim Beam may be a symbol of American heritage, but it's owned by Suntory Holdings, a Japanese multinational that acquired the brand in 2014. The whiskey is still made in Kentucky by American workers, but Trump's trade war is now damaging U.S. jobs while punishing American production, not foreign factories. Industry-wide, U.S. whiskey output has dropped by more than 55 million proof gallons, the lowest level since 2018. Jim Beam employs nearly 1,500 people in Kentucky alone, and while layoffs haven't been announced yet, Unions say they're scrambling to keep workers employed during the shutdown. The pain is spreading fast. Jack Daniels has already reported $59 million in losses this year. Even Canada's Prime Minister Mark Carney has made it clear this isn't temporary, saying the era of ever closer US-Canada economic ties is over. So while Trump sells America first as a win, the reality is iconic American brands are shutting down. American workers are left in limbo, and the damage from his trade war keeps getting worse. Thanks so much for watching. Please click that like button and subscribe to Occupy Democrats so that you can stay informed and help us stop Donald Trump.